Let's make this spooky eyeball macrame flower together. And stick around because I have not one, not two, but 3 bonuses to share. Working with groups of 4 cords, we're going to find the center of our first cord and tie just a regular overhand knot right in the center. Pin that down on your board and grab your second cord. Fold it in half to find the center again. Then place the center right behind your first strand on your first cord. We're going to tie a vertical double half hitch knot. So make a loop with the right side of your cord. Wrap it around and through the loop, and then this is only half of our vertical double half hitch knot, so we need to do it one more time. Make a loop on your right, wrap your tail end around and through the loop. Tighten up your knot, but don't tighten it too tight because we need to slide it all the way up to our first knot. Then you can make your adjustments. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing onto our other half of our first cord here. So place your cord behind your second strand, make a loop on your right, wrap your tail end around and through the loop, bring up to the top and repeat. So make a loop on your right, wrap your tail end around and through the loop. Okay, so we're going to attach 2 more cords the exact same way we did with our second. If you've seen several of my tutorials before, you will find that I am quite fond of the vertical double half hitch knot. It does take a little bit of practice, but don't worry, with this tutorial there's only a few that we need to do. And you can always adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner to slow down the video so that you get a more in-depth look at how I tie the vertical double half hitch knot. Okay, so you should have 3 cords running along the top and then 2 at the bottom. With the 2 bottom cords, I like to tie just one single half hitch. Each petal will only have a single half hitch. However, if you feel more comfortable doing the double half hitch, go ahead and do so. I like the half hitch because it adds less bulk when we tie the rest of our double half hitch knots. Speaking of which, that is what we're going to do now. So bring down the top cord, that's going to be our filler cord, and tie a row on the left-hand side of double half hitch knots. To tie a double half hitch knot, it's very similar to the vertical double half hitch knot, which means you want to make a loop and then wrap your tail end around and through the loop twice. Hence the name double half hitch. When you only loop it around once, that's just a single hitch, and then when you loop it around twice, that is a double. Now I realize the vertical double half hitch and the double half hitch isn't everyone's favorite knot. So stay tuned towards the end of this video where I share a different way on how to make a macrame flower, which uses very minimal double half hitch knots. Alrighty, so now that you've finished your first row of double half hitch knots on your left hand side, we're going to repeat the same thing but on the right hand side. Alrighty, once you've completed both sides, what you want to do is take the filler cords and cross them over. We're going to tie one more double half hitch knot to join them together. And don't worry, it doesn't matter which side you tie this knot on as long as you join the 2 filler cords together. Okay, now we're going to repeat the same process and tie another row on the left-hand side, followed by the right, and joining them together. Once you've completed your second row of double half hitch knots, for our next row, we're going to tie what I like to call a gathering double half hitch knot. It is very similar to the last 2 rows, only instead of after tying your knot, you drop your cord. What you want to do is gather it into your right hand, and then with the next cord in line, you want to tie your double half hitch knot around both of those 2 filler cords. So essentially, every single time you tie a double half hitch knot, you want to gather it into your right hand and tie the preceding double half hitch knot around all of the cords together. A gathering double half hitch knot is not a technical term. I'm pretty sure I made that up. So if you end up trying to Google it to find reference sheets, I do apologize. You will probably only ever hear that term here on my YouTube channel, just so that I can help differentiate the two different ways on how to tie the double half hitch knot. Anyways, repeat the same process on the right hand side and then repeat the whole thing all over again 4 more times so you have a total of 5 petals. Next, we're going to make this fluffy pom-pom portion in the center. To make my pom-pom, I'm going to be using this weird little contraption here. Personally, I like using this weird looking contraption because I find that my pom-poms end up coming out uniform, fluffier, and just all around nicer. This is not sponsored or affiliated or anything, but I use this brand, and I do believe I purchased it at Walmart, which is what it says at the bottom corner of this package. However, I am sure you can find it off of Amazon as well. Now, if you don't have a random Ziploc bag of pom-pom makers, you can use a cue card like I have right here. And all you have to do is wrap your yarn around it several times and then tie it together and then snip the loops. Pom-poms are quite simple to make. However, if you would like a full complete tutorial, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do for you. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and use my pom-pom maker and struggle a tad bit because I didn't read the instructions. I figured if I've made one pom-pom before, I could totally replicate it without checking the instructions one more time. It turns out instructions are important. So don't judge my scraggly pom-pom. I'm going to give him a little bit of a haircut, that way he's more uniform. Next, we're going to grab all of our components and we're going to start compiling our flower. I like to gather 3 petals and then place the pom-pom in the center and then fill in the gap with the last 2 remaining petals. As long as your pom-pom is right in the center, you are good to go. And don't be too finicky with it because it will flop a little bit when we go to tie our gathering knot, which is what we're going to be doing next. So with your final strand of macrame cord, you want the short tail end towards the top and the long tail end at the bottom. With the long tail end, you want to make a small loop right at the base of your petals. I apologize that it's a little bit tricky to see because I'm using all the same color, but essentially you want to take the long end and wrap it all the way around the base of your petals. And once you get to the bottom of your loop, you want to take your long tail end strand and thread it through the loop. Then with a small short tail end at the top, you want to pull that, and that way it'll hide your join right in the center of your wrap. Snip off the short tail ends at the top and bottom of your gathering knot. And then to tighten up your flower, what I do is pull on each individual purple cord. That way my petals lie exactly how I want it. And then finally, I pull my pom-pom cord right in the center. Once everything is tightened up, I go ahead with my scissors and snip off any of the straggly little bits, and then grab your safety eyes. Now, I'm not exactly sure which size I'm using. It is the larger size in the bag that I received from Amazon, but I do think that the larger the eye, the better. So even bigger than what I have would probably be nicer. So compile your eye just like you normally would, only you're going to put the backing on immediately. Normally the item that you're making is sandwiched in between that backing, but today we're going to be using hot glue. Put a generous amount of hot glue right in the center of your pom-pom and very carefully press your safety eye right in the middle. Taking very care not to burn yourself. I have already done that. It is not pleasant. So just use caution with this part. Now, as per my promise at the start of this tutorial, I do have 3 bonus tips. So the first tip is you can make leaves using the same pattern as the petals, only you add a few more rows to your double half hitch knots, and I secure it together with a square knot. For bonus number 2, you can make a much easier macrame eyeball flower if you follow my old pattern of forget-me-nots, only just add in the pom-pom eyeball to the center. And finally, my very last tip is you can eliminate all the strands of cord in the back of your flower if you follow this tutorial on the screen now, and I'll see you in the next one.